Have you ever wanted something so badly that you started forcing it? You forced a relationship to work. You forced someone to understand you. You forced an opportunity to happen. You forced success. You forced people to stay. You forced answers when there were no answers. And the more you tried to control everything, the more exhausted you became. You kept thinking, if I try harder, maybe it will finally happen. But sometimes trying harder is not the answer. Sometimes the answer is to stop forcing. This is one of the most powerful lessons found in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics did not teach people to become lazy, passive, or indifferent. They taught something much more difficult. Give your best effort, but stop demanding that reality obey you. You can control your effort. You can control your choices. You can control your attitude. You can control how you respond. But you cannot control every person, every opportunity, every outcome, or every event. And the moment you understand that distinction, something changes inside you. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop overthinking. You stop trying to control people. You stop treating every rejection as a personal failure. You stop believing that life must happen according to your plan. And instead, you begin to move through life with calmness. You act when action is needed. You wait when waiting is necessary. You walk away when something is no longer yours to carry. And most importantly, you stop wasting your energy fighting reality. Today, we're going to explore the Stoic art of not forcing things. Not because you should give up, not because you should stop caring, but because there is a difference between effort and attachment. There is a difference between pursuing something and desperately needing it. There is a difference between doing your part and trying to control the entire universe. So take a breath, slow down, and let this idea settle into your mind. What is meant to be influenced by you should receive your effort. What is outside your control should receive your acceptance. Stop fighting what you cannot control. One of the central ideas of Stoicism is simple. Some things are up to you, and some things are not. Your thoughts, choices, judgments, actions, and responses belong to you. Other people's opinions do not. Their decisions do not. Their feelings do not. The past does not. The future does not. The final outcome does not completely belong to you. Yet so much of human suffering comes from trying to control things that were never ours to control. Imagine planting a seed. You can prepare the soil. You can plant the seed. You can water it. You can protect it. But you cannot stand next to the ground and scream at the seed. Grow faster. The seed does not respond to desperation. Nature has its own timing. Life is similar. You can work toward your goals. You can improve yourself. You can communicate. You can make responsible decisions. But you cannot force another person to love you. You cannot force someone to respect you. You cannot force an opportunity to appear. You cannot force success to arrive on your preferred schedule. And you cannot force life to remove every obstacle. The Stoic response is not helplessness. It is clarity. Ask yourself, what is actually within my control here? Then put your energy there. If someone refuses to understand you, control your response. If someone rejects you, control your dignity. If an opportunity disappears, control your next action. If your plan fails, control your ability to adapt. If someone leaves, control how you carry yourself afterward. This is where freedom begins. Not when life becomes predictable, but when you stop requiring life to be predictable. Effort is your responsibility. Results are not. There is nothing wrong with ambition. There is nothing wrong with wanting success. There is nothing wrong with working hard. The problem begins when you confuse effort with control. You may give everything you have to a goal and still fail. You may prepare perfectly and still lose. You may treat someone with kindness and still be rejected. You may build something valuable and still have people ignore it. Does that mean your effort was meaningless? No. Your responsibility was to make the effort. The outcome belongs partly to circumstances beyond you. Think about an athlete. An athlete can train every day. They can eat properly. They can sleep well. They can study their opponent. They can prepare mentally. But when competition begins, they cannot control every movement of the opponent. They cannot control the referee's decisions. They cannot control unexpected events. They can only perform. The Stoic mindset is similar. Prepare completely. Perform sincerely. Release the outcome. This does not mean you don't care. It means you care about the right thing. Care about your character. Care about your preparation. Care about your discipline. Care about your actions. But do not make your peace dependent on a particular result. Because when your peace depends on the result, you become a prisoner of circumstances. You work hard, but you panic. You love someone, but you become possessive. You pursue success, but you become desperate. You make plans, but you become angry when reality changes. The Stoic learns to say, I will do what I can, then I will accept what I cannot control. That sentence can save you from years of unnecessary suffering. Stop forcing people to stay. One of the hardest forms of letting go is allowing people to leave. Sometimes we believe that if we explain ourselves one more time, apologize one more time, prove our love one more time, or give one more chance, the person will stay. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. And when someone has already decided to walk away, forcing them to remain usually creates more pain. Love cannot be forced. Respect cannot be forced. Friendship cannot be forced. Trust cannot be forced. You can offer these things. You can demonstrate them. You can protect them. But you cannot demand them from another human being. If someone chooses to leave your life, your job is not to destroy yourself trying to hold them in place. Your job is to ask, did I act with honesty? Did I communicate clearly? Did I treat them fairly? Did I do what was reasonably within my control? If the answer is yes, then sometimes the healthiest action is release. This does not mean the person was worthless. It does not mean you never cared. It means you understand that another person's freedom must be respected. The Stoics understood that everything in life is temporary. People come, people go, circumstances change, our bodies change, our possessions change, our careers change. Even our own lives are temporary. So instead of demanding permanence from temporary things, appreciate them while they are present. Love without possession, care without control, give without demanding repayment. And when something leaves, grieve if you need to. But do not destroy yourself trying to reverse reality. Stop forcing love. Love becomes painful when it turns into control. You begin asking, why didn't they reply? Why aren't they giving me the attention I want? Why aren't they behaving the way I expect? Why can't they love me the way I love them? These questions often reveal an uncomfortable truth. You are trying to control another person's internal world, but another person's emotions belong to them. You cannot command someone to feel something. You can create an environment where love can grow. You can communicate. You can be honest. You can be supportive. You can show affection. But love must remain voluntary. The Stoic approach to love is not coldness. It is respect. You can love someone deeply without making their behavior responsible for your emotional stability. You can say, I love you, but I cannot control you. I value you, but I do not own you. I want you in my life, but I will not destroy myself if you choose another path. That is not weakness. That is emotional strength. Stop forcing timing. Many people are not actually unhappy with their lives. They are unhappy with the timing of their lives. They think, I should already be successful. I should already be married. I should already have money. I should already have my dream career. Everyone else is ahead of me. This creates unnecessary pressure. But life does not operate according to your personal calendar. A tree does not apologize for growing slowly. A sunrise does not hurry because someone is impatient. A season does not arrive because you demand it. Your life has timing that you cannot completely control. This does not mean you should sit around waiting. It means you should stop treating delay as failure. You can continue moving forward without demanding immediate results. Think of your life as a journey. Your job is to walk. You are not required to know exactly when you will arrive. Sometimes the delay is teaching you something. Sometimes the closed door is protecting you from something you cannot see. Sometimes you need more preparation. Sometimes circumstances simply take longer. You may not understand the reason immediately, but you can still choose patience. Patience is not doing nothing. Patience is continuing without panic. Stop forcing success. Success becomes dangerous when you become desperate for it. You begin checking numbers constantly. You compare yourself with others. You become obsessed with results. You start believing that one failure means everything is over. But success rarely arrives in a straight line. There are setbacks. There are slow periods. There are mistakes. There are unexpected changes. There are moments when your work seems invisible. The Stoic response is to return to the process. Ask, what can I improve today? What can I learn? What action can I take? What mistake can I correct? What is the next useful step? Then take that step. Do not spend all day staring at the destination. If you stare at the mountain all day, you may forget to climb it. Focus on today's step. One page, one workout, one lesson, one conversation, one improvement, one disciplined decision. Success often looks sudden from the outside, but from the inside, it is usually the result of thousands of small actions repeated patiently. Stop forcing people to understand you. One of the most exhausting habits is trying to make everyone understand your intentions. You explain, then you explain again, then you defend yourself, then you replay the conversation, then you imagine what you should have said. But sometimes people will misunderstand you, even if you explain perfectly. Why? Because everyone interprets reality through their own experiences, emotions, beliefs, and assumptions. You cannot control their interpretation. You can only communicate honestly. After that, release it. If someone genuinely wants to understand you, they will listen. If someone has already decided to misunderstand you, another 100 explanations may not change anything. Stoicism teaches you to value your character more than your reputation. Ask yourself, do I know who I am? Do I know whether I acted with integrity? If yes, then you don't need universal approval. You do not need every person to understand your heart. Sometimes peace comes from saying, I know what I meant. I know how I acted. I don't need to convince everyone. Stop forcing an apology. Sometimes you are hurt because you want someone to admit they hurt you. You want them to say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. And sometimes they will. But sometimes they won't. If your healing depends on receiving an apology, you have handed your peace to the person who hurt you. That is dangerous. An apology can be meaningful. Accountability matters. But your ability to move forward cannot depend entirely on another person's maturity. You can acknowledge what happened. You can learn from it. You can establish boundaries. You can decide what you will accept in the future. And then you can move forward. Forgiveness does not necessarily mean trusting someone again. It does not mean pretending nothing happened. It means refusing to carry the event forever. You do not have to forget the lesson. You simply stop allowing the wound to control your future. Stop forcing closure. Sometimes there is no perfect ending. There is no final conversation, no satisfying explanation, no complete answer, no moment where everything suddenly makes sense. Life often leaves questions unanswered. And one of the strongest things you can do is accept incomplete endings. You may never know why someone changed. You may never know why an opportunity disappeared. You may never understand why something you wanted did not happen. But you can still move forward. Closure is not always something another person gives you. Sometimes closure is a decision you make. You say, I may never understand everything, but I understand enough to move on. That is strength. 10. Stop forcing the past to change. The past is one of the clearest examples of something outside your control. Yet people spend years arguing with it mentally. If only I had. Why did I? I should have. What if? These thoughts can become a prison. You cannot go backward. You cannot change the sentence you already spoke. You cannot erase yesterday's mistake. But you can change what the mistake means for tomorrow. The Stoic does not ask, how can I change the past? The Stoic asks, what can the past teach me? That question transforms regret into wisdom. You made a mistake? Learn. You trusted the wrong person? Learn. You wasted time? Use today's time better. You failed? Study the failure. The past should become a teacher, not a prison. Stop forcing the future. The opposite problem is trying to control everything that has not happened yet. You imagine every possible disaster. You predict conversations. You worry about money. You worry about relationships. You worry about what people will think. You worry about whether your plan will work. But most of those imagined futures do not happen exactly as you predicted. The mind creates scenarios because it wants certainty. But certainty is often unavailable. The Stoic does something different. They prepare for possibilities without emotionally living inside them. You can make a plan. You can save money. You can develop skills. You can prepare for difficulties. But once you have prepared, return to the present. Do not suffer today for a future problem that may never arrive. Preparation is useful. Constant anxiety is not preparation. The difference between giving up and letting go. Some people here stop forcing things and think it means giving up. It doesn't. Giving up says, I don't want to try anymore. Letting go says, I will try without destroying myself over the result. Giving up comes from defeat. Letting go comes from wisdom. Imagine you are rowing a boat. You can row toward the destination. But if the current changes, you adjust. You don't scream at the river. You don't demand that the water move in the direction you prefer. You adapt. That is Stoicism, not surrender to weakness. Surrender to reality. Do not confuse persistence with attachment. Persistence is powerful. Attachment can be destructive. Persistence says, this matters to me, so I will continue. Attachment says, this must happen exactly as I want, or I cannot be okay. Persistence allows adaptation. Attachment refuses reality. Persistence can accept failure. Attachment sees failure as personal destruction. Persistence says, I will try again. Attachment says, I must succeed this way. There is nothing wrong with fighting for something valuable. But ask yourself, am I pursuing this because it matters or because I cannot emotionally accept not having it? That question can reveal a lot. Stop chasing what keeps running away. Sometimes life gives you a clear message. A door closes. A person becomes distant. An opportunity repeatedly disappears. A situation constantly drains you. Yet you continue chasing. Why? Because you are attached to the idea of what it could become. You are not responding to reality. You are responding to your fantasy of reality. The Stoic asks, what is actually happening? Not, what do I wish were happening? That distinction is crucial. Look at behavior. Look at facts. Look at patterns. Do not build your life around potential while ignoring reality. If something consistently requires you to beg, chase, manipulate, or destroy your peace, perhaps the lesson is not how to chase harder. Perhaps the lesson is how to walk away. Stop forcing conversations. Not every argument needs to be won. Not every disagreement needs another response. Not every message needs an immediate reply. Not every insult deserves your attention. The Stoic understands the value of silence. Sometimes silence is not weakness. It is discipline. Before responding, ask, will this improve the situation? Am I responding from wisdom or anger? Is this worth my energy? Will I respect myself after I say this? If the answer is no, pause. You do not have to react simply because someone provoked you. Your attention is valuable. Your emotional energy is limited. Spend it carefully. Stop trying to control other people's opinions. Someone will always dislike something about you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will compare you. Someone will talk about you. If you try to control all of these opinions, you will never be free. Instead, build a character that you respect. You cannot control what people say, but you can control whether their words change who you become. Imagine two people criticizing you. One criticism is accurate. The other is completely false. The Stoic treats them differently. If the criticism is true, learn from it. If it is false, release it. In both cases, you remain in control. That is emotional independence. Stop forcing yourself to be perfect. Another form of forcing is perfectionism. You expect yourself to never fail, never become tired, never feel afraid, never make mistakes, never lose motivation. But you are human. Strength does not mean never struggling. Strength means returning to the path after struggling. You can be disciplined without being cruel to yourself. You can demand excellence without demanding perfection. When you make a mistake, don't say, I am a failure. Say, what can I learn from this? That small change in language can transform your relationship with yourself. Control your effort, not your circumstances. Imagine two people starting the same journey. One constantly complains about the weather. The other checks the weather, prepares properly, and continues. Which person has more peace? The second. Not because the weather is better, because their attention is placed where it belongs. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your preparation. You cannot control the economy, but you can control your spending and skills. You cannot control another person's behavior, but you can control your boundaries. You cannot control rejection, but you can control what you do next. You cannot control uncertainty, but you can control your present action. This is the practical side of Stoicism. Don't force yourself to understand everyone. You don't need to understand why every person behaves the way they do. Some people will be selfish. Some will be insecure. Some will be confused. Some will be immature. Some will simply have different values. You can try to understand without excusing harmful behavior. And sometimes the healthiest conclusion is, I don't fully understand this person, but I know what boundary I need. That is enough. Protect your attention. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Every notification takes a piece of it. Every argument takes a piece. Every unnecessary comparison takes a piece. Every obsession takes a piece. Every attempt to control someone takes a piece. Ask yourself, where is my attention going? Because wherever your attention goes, your life follows. If you spend hours worrying about someone else's opinion, you are giving them control over your mind. Take your attention back. Focus on what matters. Your work, your family, your growth, your values, your present moment. Stop forcing the perfect moment. There is rarely a perfect moment. You may never feel completely ready. You may never have complete confidence. You may never have all the resources. Start with what you have. Improve as you go. The Stoic does not wait for perfect conditions. They work with current conditions. If today is difficult, work within difficulty. If resources are limited, be creative. If you are afraid, act carefully but courageously. If you don't know everything, learn. The perfect moment is often created through action. Let results take time. A farmer cannot harvest the day after planting. Yet modern people expect immediate results. You publish once and expect success. You exercise for a week and expect transformation. You read one book and expect wisdom. You practice a skill for a month and expect mastery. Real growth takes repetition. Let results accumulate. Your job is to create the conditions. Time does the rest. You don't need to dig up the seed every morning to check whether it is growing. Sometimes you simply need to keep watering it. Stop forcing your worth to be proved. You don't need to constantly prove that you are valuable. You don't need to impress everyone. You don't need to win every argument. You don't need to be the richest person in the room. You don't need to have the most followers. You don't need to receive constant praise. Your worth does not rise and fall with external numbers. Focus on becoming a person you respect. That is a goal worth pursuing. The freedom of "it is okay if it doesn't happen." One of the most powerful sentences you can learn is, I want it, but I will be okay if it doesn't happen. Think about how freeing that is. You can pursue love without desperation. You can pursue success without obsession. You can pursue money without worshiping it. You can pursue recognition without needing it. You can pursue a goal without making it your entire identity. You still try. You still work. You still care. But you are no longer emotionally imprisoned by the outcome. That is detachment. What happens when you stop forcing? You become more observant. You notice patterns. You notice who genuinely cares. You notice which opportunities are healthy. You notice which goals still matter. You notice which relationships are one-sided. You notice where your energy is being wasted. When you stop forcing, reality becomes clearer. And clarity allows better decisions. You stop asking, how can I make this happen? And start asking, is this worth making happen? That is a major shift. The quiet power of walking away. Walking away can feel frightening because your mind says, what if this was my only chance? But sometimes walking away is exactly how you make space for something better. You cannot hold every possibility. Sometimes you have to close one chapter to create room for another. Walk away from unnecessary arguments. Walk away from endless chasing. Walk away from disrespect. Walk away from patterns that repeatedly destroy your peace. Not with hatred, with clarity. You don't need revenge. You don't need a dramatic ending. Sometimes you simply leave quietly. Become comfortable with no. No is not always rejection of your worth. Sometimes it is redirection. No can save your time. No can protect your energy. No can force you to develop. No can teach you that another path exists. Learn to hear no without immediately trying to turn it into yes. Respect boundaries. Respect decisions. Respect reality. Then continue. 68. Stop forcing your mind to stop thinking. Even overthinking can become something we try to force away. You say, stop thinking, stop worrying, stop feeling this, and then you become frustrated because the thoughts continue. Instead, observe them. A thought is not an instruction. An emotion is not a command. You can notice, I am worried, I am angry, I am thinking about the past. Then ask, do I need to act on this? Often, the answer is no. Let the thought pass without turning it into action. That is mental detachment. Become the person who can let go. The ultimate goal is not to learn how to let go of one specific thing. It is to become someone who knows how to let go. Let go of the argument. Let go of the need for approval. Let go of the old version of yourself. Let go of unrealistic expectations. Let go of resentment. Let go of control. Let go of what has already ended. Let go of what cannot be changed. And hold tightly to what actually belongs to you. Your character, your values, your choices, your discipline, your courage, your ability to begin again, your response, your next step. So if something is not working, don't automatically push harder. Pause. Look again. Ask yourself, am I being persistent, or am I forcing something that reality is telling me to release? That question may save you from unnecessary suffering. And if you discover that something needs to be released, release it, not because you are defeated, but because you are wise enough to stop fighting reality. Walk away without hatred. Move forward without bitterness. Continue without desperation. And remember, what you cannot control does not deserve to control you. Your life will not always follow your plan. People will not always behave the way you want. Doors will close. Plans will change. Some dreams will disappear. Some people will leave. Some opportunities will pass. And yet, you can still live well. You can still remain calm. You can still build. You can still love. You can still grow. You can still become stronger. Because your greatest power was never the ability to control everything. Your greatest power is the ability to remain yourself when you cannot control anything. So stop forcing. Stop chasing. Stop begging reality to become different. Do your part. Do it with excellence. Then release the outcome. Let people choose. Let time move. Let life unfold. Let reality teach you. And when the road changes, change with it. When the door closes, look for another. When something leaves, allow yourself to grieve, then continue. When you fail, learn. When you succeed, remain humble. When you don't know, remain patient. And when life refuses to give you exactly what you wanted, remember, you may not control the path, but you can control the person walking it. And that person is you. Walk calmly. Walk patiently. Walk with courage. Walk without forcing. Because sometimes the greatest victory is not getting what you wanted. Sometimes the greatest victory is realizing that you no longer need to force it. Do your part. Release the rest. And let life unfold. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel Animal Forte.